Hey everybody, it's your girl Shadana Mo McFall, the Mo You Know. So welcome to this week's edition of the Mo You Know Live. I'm so excited. We have a very special guest tonight, and I was just telling Taneshia before I hit the live button. I'm like, Taneshia, it will take my whole 30 minutes to introduce you with all your accolades, all of the things you do. So the people that want to know you, listen, go to TaneshiaKerr.com, or you can simply Google her, because what I know is that these 30 minutes go by so fast that I don't want to waste any time, because I know the people who want to know, how are you doing this whole super mom? People know that you have the twins all over the internet. You've done stories and you've done media. People know that you have the twins. But what a lot of people may not know is you just got appointed the interim CEO and president of Fayetteville Chamber. So first of all, congratulations on that. I know that's super exciting. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So I know we're on our second now. So just how is it? What in your life has changed since you took on that role?
My work hours. I now pretty much live in the office. I get up, go to work. I come home, sleep, and get up and go back to work. There's a lot that has to be done. Before I stepped into the CEO role, I was doing a membership, working with our members to make sure that they maximize their member benefits. And I was also assisting with the marketing, because when COVID happened, we lost our marketing intern. So now that I have assumed the role of interim CEO, you'd think some of that would get reallocated, but it hasn't. So now I'm wearing 3 hats instead of 2. So primarily my work hours have changed. It's still business as usual at the chamber. Our plan of work continues just as it did before. We're ramping up for Bikes and Barbecue on November 21, and we have our monthly event still going on tomorrow. We have a Chamber of Heroes at Stony Point, the Trail of Terror. So everything is continuing just as it would before, just that I spend more time at the office.
I can understand that, and I can appreciate that, because I know, like I said, being from Fayetteville, and I'm actually grew up by Stony Point, so the Trail of Terror, I'm very familiar with that side of town, and cars are lined up all down that Stony, was it Fisher Road? Yeah, I think Rockfish. I don't remember the road, but I know the lines of cars will be lined up, and that is like one of the biggest things that we do here, in Fayetteville. There's a lot of signature events and a lot of big time events that people look forward to, and I know that is definitely one of them. So I just want to thank you and the chamber for doing that for us, and shout out to me for joining the chamber today.
Welcome.
Yes, and I was telling people even before I joined the chamber, when I was, we have most heroes, I was like, hey, that the chamber needs to be your first stop when you're looking for a job, because guess what? Those are your business owners that can hire you.
Correct.
So it's not, we know it's for networking, but if you need a job, guess who hires for these jobs? These business owners who are part of the chamber. So, and I know we have individual memberships for people that, if you're not a business owner, you can be a friend of the chamber. So yes. So I just want to thank you. And like I said, and I said it on social media before, but I definitely want to publicly say how proud I am of you, because like I said, I know the story, and you shared the story about how you've gotten here. And I do want to go back and let the people know that are new to you, how you got to Carolina and how you got to be the CEO and president of the Greater Fayetteville Chamber.
Yeah, that's a real windy, twisty story. So it goes back to 2013. I was coming off of three miscarriages. I lost four babies back to back in three miscarriages, and ended up going to the doctor, and they said, if I have any chance of having children, then I have to do it within a year. And so I didn't have time to even process all the grief that I was feeling. If you want kids, you gotta do it now. So I did. I did get pregnant a few months later, and got pregnant again. And after two ultrasounds, my husband came with me to the third ultrasound, and he, strong heartbeat, the baby's doing well, and he asked, "Are you sure there's only one?" And the nurse asked him, "Well, how many did you order?" He said, "I ordered two." And so they looked again, and sure enough, they found a second heartbeat, and they were sure it was a different heartbeat because it was beating at a different pace. But now I was an extremely high risk case. And so the goal from that point on was to keep me pregnant as long as possible, because my body immediately started rejecting the babies. We managed to get me to 21 weeks, and I went into labor at 21 weeks. And with medication and bed rest and all kinds of stuff, they said, you just get past 24 weeks, because at 24 weeks they can survive on their own in the NICU. And so when we got to 24 weeks, like, okay, we're still going, they started giving me meds to speed up the development of the babies. And we managed to make it to 26 weeks. And at 26 weeks, my water broke, and I delivered the twins. And they were about the size of your palm. They were 1.5 pounds each. They were this tiny. And when I would do kangaroo care with them, they were literally small enough for me to tuck them inside my t-shirts and cover them over with a blanket. They spent 3 months in the hospital with multiple surgeries and different kinds of procedures. And after 3 months, they came home, and we continued to work with specialists for the next 2 years to help them to catch up. But all of this was happening while I was living in California. And with how intense their care was, I had to give up my job. I was working at the time as Director of Corporate Communications for the Adventist headquarters in California. And I was pastoring a 550 member church. And I had to give all of that up to stay home and take care of them. But the level of care that they needed, that wasn't something I was going to trust with anybody else. So I stepped away from my career, because that can wait. Got to keep these babies alive. But that also meant that we had to leave California because of the air quality and their premature lungs. We had to leave to prevent them from developing additional complications. So moved over to the East Coast. And, it really is kind of interesting how stress affects you, because while we were taking care of the twins, my husband and I, we did everything together, and everything else pretty much got shelved while we focused on keeping the babies alive, getting them to all of their appointments, and walking them through all the different procedures and therapies and everything that they needed to go through. And I remember when they hit 2 years old, and the pediatrician, she said, she was actually kind of bummed because she saw their medical history with all this interesting stuff that was going on with them. And by the time she got to treating them, because she was just a regular pediatrician, she wasn't a specialist, all the complications had been resolved and they were fine. And she was a little disappointed. She said, they're normal, they're okay. And coming off that 2-year journey, I didn't make it out of the parking lot. You know, when she said they're fine, all their tests are normal, they are normal size, normal weight. Yeah, she's like, yeah, they're just regular 2-year-olds. I got back to the car, I got them strapped in, and I couldn't even back out. I just broke down and I cried and cried and cried, just to have the weight of that off of me. But even though the twins were fine, my marriage wasn't, because we had been under so much stress for so long. And so we separated, and that's what brought me here to North Carolina, to Fayetteville. And when I got here, I I have 2-year-olds that require, food, care, everything. And I moved here, and I didn't know anybody in the city, new city, no family nearby, nothing, just got to rebuild. And I was applying for jobs all over. And I actually have a stack of rejection letters about this thick. Nobody would hire me. And I eventually said, you know what? There's one thing I know I can do, and that is I can sell Avon. I'd done it before years ago when I was in my 20s, and said, okay, that I can do. So I signed up for Avon, and that led me to the chamber because I was looking for businesses to partner with. And so the chamber, that's a connector. If you're looking to build and to grow and expand as a business, that's where you go, is to the chamber. And as I was explaining what I wanted, the office manager asked if I was looking for a job. And I said, as a matter of fact, I could use a job. And so they had 2 positions open, and I applied for both. But one of them, they said I didn't have enough experience living in the city of Fayetteville to do. And so the other position, they said, if I want it, it's mine. But they didn't think I would want it because it was to work at the front desk. So they were looking for a receptionist, and it was paying minimum wage. And of course, I have all this experience in corporate communication and running an organization. And I have my 2 master's degrees. And the CEO at the time said, there's no way this lady is coming here to answer our phones with all of that under her belt. But you know what? When you're back at the wall, you do what you got to do. And there isn't anything that we wouldn't do for our kids. So February 2nd, I turned up to answer the phones. And it was an interesting journey, because one of the really neat things about being moved into that position at that time is because the level of responsibility that I had was less, I was able to do more with my children. And so I was able to work, but I was able to get off at a fixed time and spend time with them, and we could play and build things, and I could still be there and watch them grow. So that was a real blessing. But I used to joke that whenever June rolls around at the chamber, my job title changes. so the first June, I was moved from the admin assistant at the front desk, and I was put back in communication. And so I was doing marketing communication for the chamber, which was really exciting. And then I did that for a year. And then I got moved over into events, except that I continued to do marketing. So now I was doing both marketing and events. So that was a whole lot of fun. It was really interesting because I got to see all the events that the chamber was doing and to promote them. And the chamber does, between our monthly events or signature events and the Military Affairs Council, we do over 100 events per year. And so I was not just planning these events, but also promoting these events. And that was so much fun. And then the following June, which is last year, I was moved again to membership this time. And I was director of membership. So now I have worked in pretty much every position that's available in the chamber. I've done all the jobs that the chamber has. And for that reason, when Christine Michaels was offered a position in Tennessee, running another chamber there, the board made the recommendation, which totally blew my mind. I thought they would bring somebody.
You just said you could do everything there.
Yeah, there's the institutional knowledge and the experience. I have had a lot of experience with chambers crammed into me in 3.5 years. And so, I think the most surprising thing for me with being moved into the position of interim president and CEO is that it was a unanimous vote, and that is a huge vote of confidence from the board of directors. So I remember calling my mom and I was like, I am the first woman of color and the youngest person to sit in this chair. And I did that coming from the front desk, and that is, it's huge, So I look at the young lady that, just left college and she's now working at our front desk. And I say to her, hey, I started here. Christine Michaels started as at the front desk of her first chamber. And now with 25 years of chamber experience under her belt, she has run multiple chambers. So it's been a really fascinating experience. To get to where I am, as I joke, from the front desk to the big desk.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I love this story. The thing is that I've been trying to drill into everybody's head. And I know I'm not the first person to say this, or I didn't make this up, but getting your foot in the door makes all the difference.
Yes, it does.
All the difference. So take whatever. Like, I know some people, their ego is this big, and they're like, I'm not doing that. I did this over, especially, and I'm gonna speak to my military folks right now because I know y'all do this. Well, I was such and such in the military, and I need this amount of money. I need this, I need that. But what I know to be true is no, and I'm not saying nobody cares, because there are some companies who care that you have the rank and the experience, but you still have to learn that job. You still have to learn everything about that job so you can really move up in that company. Because even if you come out as the CEO, and if you don't know anything about the company, you're going to fail. So yes, the titles are great, but have that backbone, have that foundational knowledge. So no one of your employees, anybody I bet you right now, no one can challenge you about anything at the chamber. They may try, but you haven't.
I joke. I never thought that I would be the chamber vault, but right now I am the oldest in terms of length of tenure. I'm the oldest one that's there, and so I have the history and the background to relationships and different things. When people need anything, I'm the one that they call. Taneshia, what's the background on this? What do I need to know about that? And it's just amazing to be in that position. Yeah, but Mo, something that you said, about just getting your foot in the door. There's something that is really, really important. And if you don't remember anything else that I said tonight, remember this. You don't have a chance if you don't have a seat at the table. And it doesn't matter what table it is. You need to at least have a seat at the table so that you can get to the head of the table. Sometimes we just want to jump straight to the top. You just need to get a seat. at the table. And once you have your voice, use your voice, you will grow. It will expand around you to make space for your vision and your goals for you to step into. But the first thing that you need to do is just get that first seat. Just get that first seat.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I have a friend, a colleague, a client, Ty Simmons, we talk about the table and having a seat. Ty was like, I don't want the seat. I want to own the furniture store. Yes.
I love it.
Own the furniture store. So yeah, like I said, but you still have to have the seat. You still have to get that knowledge. Yes. You still have to have that background knowledge, no matter what it is that you're trying to do. And I'm very, very passionate about this because I know I told you I was an information manager, knowledge operator in the military. So my whole career was about the information, was about having the knowledge. What was the person that they call when somebody is new to the base, is new to the squadron? Hey, call Mo. And my thing is, or Amber McFall at the time. And I didn't realize, I'm like, why are y'all calling me? I ain't Sprint, But I didn't realize the magnitude, of my job. My job was to have those answers. My job was to make sure that the right people got the right information at the right time. So I get it. I love it. And it is just so amazing to see where we started. And tell the people, I know where you're from. Where are you from? I know they're listening to the accent.
I'm from Jamaica, and I don't usually notice my accent until I start getting angry, and then my accent gets real thick. Yeah. But I'm originally from Jamaica. I've lived here now for 12 years. Yeah.
Okay. I remember when I got back from my second deployment, me and my girlfriends, we went to Montego Bay and we had a blast. Oh my God, it was just so much fun. So yeah, so I know when I first met you, like I said, you were the membership, but I'm like, when we first started working together, one thing that you did not mention that I had to find out on my own, like I said, snooping on your website, TaneshiaKerr.com, you was actually featured on the Steve Harvey Show, and that's when he called you Supermom. So I saw that, and I'm like, Tanesha, how did you not? When you and I talked, when we had that initial, conversation, why didn't you tell me that? Don't you? I am the biggest Steve Harvey fan and the biggest Mariah Carey fan. Like, you got a whole makeover from Mariah Carey's team. Yes. And you didn't even think that was important.
You know what, Mo? That was a really special moment because I was being recognized for something that I think any mom with her back against the wall and you have to make a choice about your kids, I think any mom would have, made the sacrifices that I made. And yes, our journey was unique in terms of having to spend nights sitting up for hours next to the kids, sleeping in between their cribs, listening to their breathing through the night. Like they had to have someone with them round the clock. And a lot of times I was the only person, but what are you gonna do? Your kid's life depends on it. So what are you gonna do? You drink another cup of coffee and you put toothpicks under your eyelids and you stay awake, and make sure that they're okay. Yeah. My daughter stopped breathing. I gave her infant CPR because that's just what you got to do. But yeah, that was a really special moment for the Steve Harvey Show to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was still blown every time. And like I said, I've seen it, but every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh my God, Mariah Carey. Like, so how was that? Were you starstruck as I am right now? Because I know it was probably a total surprise. Was it a total surprise? Or did you know?
I did not know. I did not know. What the
Okay.
only thing that I knew was that they wanted specifically somebody who was a mom of twins. That's all I knew. So as far as I knew, we were coming on the show, we're going to tell our story about twins. And then when Mariah Carey came out, I was like, oh, this is why they want somebody with twins, because Mariah Carey has twins
Right.
as well. So I would love to say that no, I wasn't starstruck, except that the GIF that the clip is frozen on. It's a picture of me like this.
Yeah.
So every time you post it, it's like, yeah, I can't tell anybody I wasn't starstruck.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know, like I told you, the time goes by really fast, but I also want to get into your book, the
Okay.
journal,
Mm-hmm.
the oh my God, I'm just still starstruck from Mariah. So please give me a chance. Because I know I probably would not have even, I probably would have died right there on the stage.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. It's just, and I don't get starstruck a lot, but there are some people, like I remember I met President Obama. I met some pretty big names, but I'll tell you this now, if I meet Mariah Carey, and I've seen Steve Harvey, I went to one of his conferences, but if I meet him in person, shake his hand, and The Rock, and Oprah, those, and Michelle Obama. I'm going to hit the floor. But let's talk a minute about underqualified and overwhelmed. So how did you come to that point to write that book?
When the kids were in the NICU, there were a lot of people that commented on the fact that I seemed to be managing everything so well, and they wanted to know how I was doing it. And so that led me to putting that story on paper, and it opened up a whole new avenue of counseling and therapy for me, because I am a licensed counselor, and it opened up a whole new avenue of clients. And so now I focus on stress management and teaching people how to cope, because I was practicing the same skills that I would tell people to do. And so when people are like, well, how is it that you always look, like you have everything together? And it's just, a series of steps. Part of it is self-care. Part of it is talking yourself through what you're experiencing and not trying to push it away and shelve it, which is another thing that we sometimes do. We push our stresses into the closet, but something's going to happen to cause that door to crack, and then everything's going to come tumbling out. So how do you, in bits, work your way through that? So the first book tells the story that brought me to this point, and it has a journal with 4 practices that you can do, and it's kind of an introduction into the second books, which are a full 90-day journal, and there are 2 versions of it, but it's a full 90-day journal, and it walks you through doing the deep heart work that you need to do to get out of your own way, to manage your own stress, to think through the blocks in your life, to get to a point where you can start becoming your ideal self, where you can go after the dreams that you have in your heart, where your past, your trauma, the stress that you're facing every day, where all of those things are no longer a block for you. So when I was writing it, the idea I had in my head was, if I was counseling me, what are the questions that I would ask? And what are the questions I would need to work through? And that's what I put down on paper in that 90-day journal.
Oh my gosh. So guys, stand by. We are developing a challenge, a program to help everybody elevate and get themselves together in these next in 90 days. So Taneshia, like I told you, it is our time. Just let everybody know how they connect with you on social media. I know I mentioned the website again, but just reiterate how people can work with you, how they can join the chamber, all of the great gems that you just dropped, make sure that they understand that.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at Taneshia Kerr, and my website, TaneshiaKerr.com. If you go to my website, you can actually download a copy of the journal for you to test. You can download the first 14 days so you can give it a try and see how it works for you. So that's TaneshiaKerr.com. And you can also find me on Buy Me a Coffee. Like if you like the work that I'm doing, or if you want to subscribe, I do have like a monthly subscription where we can do counseling and all that together. So you can find me on Buy Me a Coffee as well. And that too is at Taneshia Kerr.
Absolutely. And what is the website for the chamber? For the people here in Fayetteville?
Faybiz.com. So Greater Fayetteville Chamber, Faybiz.com. And the information about membership benefits is on our website. And if you have any questions, you can call our office, 910-483-8133. And we would be more than happy to go through the benefits of being a member of the chamber with you. And come on out tomorrow to Stony Point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you. I know, like I said, you got to get back to your twins. I'm just, like I said, I'm just so in awe of you, because it does look like, you got it all together. So keep doing what you're doing, sister, because, you got it going on. I'll just say that you, with your little master degrees and your little executive, like I was in your little executive office today. But girl, like I said, I am super proud of you. I am just in awe. And like I said, I have your back 100%. So thank you again. Y'all guys. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Mo You Know Live. Like I said, these things, it's not getting easier. It's just like, okay. I love this because it's just like, I'm really just talking to my friends. So, who doesn't love talking to them? I always tell people I love adult conversation. So y'all know I talk to my 7-year-old all day. So anytime I get a chance to have some adult conversation, I'm going to take it. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Like I said, if you know somebody who needs a therapist, and Taneshia, like I said, she's a therapist and a pastor. So they say you can have both, and you should have both. And Taneshia is all both. That in one. Have both. So thank you guys. Taneshia, you have a great night. I really enjoyed you as always. It's a great time. So like I said, let's keep talking, let's keep working, let's keep elevating, supporting one another, and bringing more people to the table so they can eventually own the furniture store, as Tyler was saying. Yes. So guys, I'm gonna get out of here. And like I said, thank you. And like I said, tune in next week with our next special guest. Y'all have a great one.
All right. Thank you, Mo. Bye.